reaching you live from our studio in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up, Kaduna State Government declares Chairman Nigerian Labour Congress Ayuba Waba others wanted. PDP Governors Forum demands constitutional amendment from President Muhammadu Buhari. Benue State Governor Samuel ORTOM urges residents to defend themselves against invaders. US President Joe Biden calls for a ceasefire after 8 days of violence between Israel and Palestinian militants in Gaza. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. Here are some stories we are tracking at this hour. I am Margaret Opara. And now the Kaduna State Government has declared the chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, and others wanted. Waba had on Monday led workers in the state on a warning strike to force the state governor, Malam Nasir El-RUFAI, to rescind his decision to sack workers in the state. The action by NLC led to the grounding of economic and social activities in the state, with workers in the railway, aviation, medical sector, and others joining the protest staged by the Congress. Governor El-RUFAI in a tweet stated the NLC and its protest displayed some unlawful actions. He accused the Congress of shutting down electricity, coercion, and restraint from personal freedom, trespassing to public facilities, and denial of access to health care for several of its citizens. El-RUFAI, however, declared Waba and others at the NLC wanted, adding handsome reward will be paid for information on their hideout. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has started its 5-day warning strike over the mass sack of workers in the state. The worker converged on Tuesday at the NLC Secretariat in Kaduna State and proceeded to the State House of Assembly to express its grievances. Addressing journalists, NLC National President Comrade Ayuba Waba claimed El-RUFAI disengaged workers without consulting the union, describing the policy as anti-workers policy.
To resist a government that does not respect the rule of law. We are here to respect a government that does not respect the dignity of labor. You are aware of the provision of Section 20 of the Labour Act. It made very clear provision that before any employer of labor, be it in the public sector, declare redundancy, they must first consult the union and the workers' representative. Any worker that has worked for 6 months deserves to be confirmed. He deserves to be confirmed, and he must be confirmed. Is that not impunity? Is that what the law says? No. These are the facts of the matter. If it were competency, what is the value of the competency now? Can he turn up the empirical value of the competency test? No. Even those that are working now don't they have employed. They are working because they don't have employment. So it's not about resources. If it is about resources, it doesn't add up. He doesn't just believe that, and because capitalism is about making the rich rich and making the poor poor. That is the policy. So we should not be under any illusion that this policy can change without us engaging the issue. As we have said, this is just the beginning today.
Local government, which I want to be specific about, in 2017, it sacked 5,000 workers, local government workers. Recently, as of last week, he has sacked 2,441. When you add it up, El-RUFAI has sacked 7,441 local government workers without any remuneration, without their severance package, either as their gratuity or any amount of money paid to them. Many of them have died. I've just raised an example of the former president of Norway. The man was sacked. He became depressed, he died, and his family are now suffering. So to an average local government worker in Kaduna say, the El-RUFAI has, because of this injustice, has led to their death. The ILO says, before you disengage the worker, there's what we call redundancy law. You shall engage the labor union representing that worker.
In other news, the PDP Governors Forum is calling on President Muhammadu Buhari to immediately send an executive bill to the National Assembly to amend the Nigerian Constitution. This is to devolve more power to the state concerning security arrangements, culminating in some form of state policing and the general security architecture of the country. The forum made the call in Ibadan on Monday via a communique issued at the end of a meeting that had in attendance about 15 PDP governors who further reviewed the state of the nation. While briefing newsmen at the end of the one-day consultative meeting, the chairman PDP Governors Forum, Aminu Waziri Damboa, asked President Buhari to summon an immediate meeting of the Nigerian Police Council.
Constitution to devolve more powers to the states with respect to security arrangements culminating in some form of state policy and general security architecture. In the interim, Mr. President should summon an immediate meeting of the Nigerian Police Council, which comprises Mr. President and all state governors and other critical stakeholders to evolve and implement strategies to combat present threats to our nation, especially.
And now a civil society forum has thrown its weight behind the call for a national dialogue in Nigeria. The group planning to convey a southwest convergence in Ibadan or your state maintains having a national dialogue would help accommodate all agitations coming from different sections of the country. And now the convener of the National Convergence, Dr. DAYO KAYODE, joins us on News Now to shed more light on this development. Many thanks for joining us on News Now.
It's my pleasure being on your news again this afternoon, Margaret.
Now, Dr. Kayode, how would you react to the calls for national dialogue in Nigeria?
Yes, no doubt about it that we need to dialogue because for us to forge cohesion within the Federation of Nigeria, there is need for a total dialogue now. People must to understand themselves. We must to know our needs, aspirations, our don'ts, and all that put together for us to be able to forge ahead as a nation.
Thank you, Dr. Kayode. Now, in 2014, Nigeria had a national conference. You are also planning to host a national convergence in Ibadan. How is this different, and what is the assurance your recommendations will be implemented?
Yeah, there are two different things. The one organized by the government and the one organized by the people. The one organized by the government, the politicians, you're going to, when you see through it properly, you're going to know that there are hedonistic tendencies and hegemonic nature are being embedded in all those things that they are coming up with. Unlike the one being made by the people themselves. The people are looking at it that, okay, see, as a people, let us converge and discuss. But when you look at that, the one for government, they normally bring in selected people. And who are the people they are bringing? They always bring in people that are loyal to them. And those that are loyal to them that are being brought into such conferences, they say things that will further entrench the politicians' hegemony on the people. Unlike the one that people organize themselves. They will be talking about where the shoe pinches them. And they'll be telling government, look at the solutions we require for where these shoes are pinching us. So you can now see the difference from the one being organized by the government and the one being organized by the people. The convergence coming up in Ibadan on Thursday is being organized by the people, not by the government. So you can now see that people will come out and talk about their mind. They will talk about their needs and aspirations. They will talk about what they are expecting from the government. They will say, oh, look, government, we don't want to take in our petroleum, our crude oil to go and refine abroad again. We want it done here. They will tell government, look, with our resources, you can have modular refinery within so period of time. But government will not look at that side because they know that when they refine it abroad and bring it down here, through the subsidy that they always say it is a fraud, they will be making more money. But people will now say, look, we want modular refinery. So those are the differences that you're going to see from the one organized by the government and the one organized by the people.
All right, now about the present government. How can they achieve a better result with the proposed national dialogue if it intends to give it a try?
Yeah, there are two different things. The one organized by the government and the one organized by the people. The one organized by the government, the politicians, you're going to, when you see through it properly, you're going to know that their hedonistic tendencies and hegemonic nature are being embedded in all those things that they are coming up with, unlike the one being made by the people themselves. The people are looking at it that, okay, see, as a people, let us converge and discuss. But when you look at that, the one for government, they normally bring in selected people. And who are the people they are bringing? They always bring in people that are loyal to them. And those that are loyal to them, that are being brought into such conferences, they say things that will further entrench the politicians' hegemony on the people. Unlike the one that people organize themselves. They will be talking about where the shoe pinches them. And they'll be telling government, look at the solutions we require for where these shoes are pinching us. So you can now see the difference from the one being organized by the government and the one being organized by the people. The convergence coming up in Ibadan on Thursday is being organized by the people, not by the government. So you can now see that people will come out and talk about their mind. They will talk about their needs and aspirations. They will talk about what they are expecting from the government. They will say, oh, look, government, we don't want to take in our petroleum, our crude oil to go and refine abroad again. We want it done here. They will tell government, look, with our resources, you can have modular refinery within so period of time. But government will not look at that side.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. DAYO KAYODE, for sharing your thoughts on this.
Thank you very much, Margaret.
And now to security issue, the governor of Benue State, Samuel ORTOM, has urged residents of the state to take up arms and defend themselves against invaders. The governors made the call while speaking to journalists on Monday at Oyo State, where he attended the People's Democratic Party governors' meeting. The governor urged people to stand against armed invaders in their communities. He said, I have told my people to defend themselves. You can't sit down in your house for people to come from somewhere and kill you. If you don't have weapons required by the law, go to your neighbor and get one. Everybody in Benue, both men and women, should defend themselves. End of quote. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission will this week meet heads of security agencies as part of moves to end attacks on its offices in some parts of the country. The meetings with security chiefs will be held after the Commission's meeting with its resident electoral commissioners on Wednesday. On Friday, at least 19 offices of INEC had been raised in the last 2 years. Now, spotlight, cancer survivor recount ORDEAL. Chronic leukemias have been reported to be common than acute leukemias in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. To unravel the cause and reveal the ordeal of cancer patients in Nigeria, iBrandTV in this special documentary speaks with Kolawale Solomon, a cancer survivor. He talks about his struggle, pain, and respite.
I was dried up. I was very dried up, like about to die. So after that, they referred me to hematology at Lasot. When I got to hematology, after diagnosing me, they confirmed it was 2 cancers at a time: lymphoma and leukemia, blood cancer, CML and NHL. I felt weak. I felt like, is this where my life is going to end? I've never in my life experienced such or had anything of such. How could I have 2 cancers? My leg was very big, my stomach was big, my neck was big. I had to do biopsy on my neck and all. So things are very hard. Sometimes I do feel it should just end someday, but now I really give God the glory. He gave me another opportunity to know that there is hope and there is life. You know, when I was down, I do tell God myself that He should take my life, that the pain was too much for me. He should just kill me. But on the other way around, God said it's not my time, that I won't die. So I thank God and I give God the glory. I'm still breathing today.
Survivorship of leukemia and lymphoma globally is actually quite high. A lot of people survive leukemia and lymphoma when they get to have the appropriate treatment and if the treatment is initiated early enough. However, in this part of the world, because of the peculiar challenges we do have in our healthcare system, many individuals are not able to access the right treatment on time, and this has led to the reduction in the survival rates of blood cancer patients in Nigeria. However, it is still one of the most highly treatable cancers worldwide, and if appropriate treatment is given, the survival of blood cancer is.
You can visit our YouTube page for more revelation from Kolawole Sunman's story and other related documentaries. You're still watching news now. We're going on a short break now and return more for more news updates. Stay with us. Now bringing you news from the Africa scene. French President Emmanuel Macron hosts African leaders and the heads of multilateral lenders in Paris on Tuesday to find ways of financing African economies hurt by the COVID-19 pandemic and discuss handling the continent's billions of dollar debt. The summit is part of Macron's effort to recast France's engagement in Africa, while it was once a colonial power. At the time, the continent faces a near $300 billion deficit by the end of 2023, while trying to recover from the downturn. The summit will bring together some 30 African and European heads of state, as well as the heads of global financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Macron has said that he believes Africa needs a new deal to give the continent a breath of fresh air. Meanwhile, an unusually large group of about 5,000 Moroccans, many of them minors or families, illegally swam into Spain's northern African enclave of Ceuta on Monday. A spokesman for the Spanish government's delegation said one person died in the attempt. Now, crowds of mostly young people swam onto the beach, some running or showing thumbs up. Footage by local media Faro showed in activity that started overnight and gathered pace later in the day. The Spanish enclave of Ceuta and nearby Melilla on Morocco's northern coast have long been a magnet for African migrants trying to reach Europe in search of a better life. And now on the foreign scene, Spain has deployed troops to Ceuta to patrol the border with Morocco after thousands of migrants swam into the northern African enclave amid heightened diplomatic tensions. Interior Minister Fernando Grande Marlaska said on Tuesday. Footage from local Faro TV channel showed soldiers in armored vehicles guarding the enclave's beach as dozens of migrants emerged from the water while hundreds of potential migrants stood on the Moroccan side of the fence between the enclave and Morocco. Soldiers started patrolling the border along with Spanish police, Grande Marlaska told state broadcaster TVE. He revealed as many as 6,000 Moroccans, including about 1,500 minors, swam to Ceuta on Monday and Tuesday, he said. Meanwhile, the U.S. President Joe Biden has voiced his support for a ceasefire after 8 days of violence between Israel and Palestinian militants in Gaza. Biden told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. was working with Egypt and other countries on halting hostilities. But the U.S. again blocked the UN Security Council statement calling for a cessation of violence. The conflict is now in its second week with a little sign of ending. And at least 212 people, including 61 children, have died in Gaza and 10, including 2 children, in Israel. Israel says most of those killed in Gaza are militants and that any civilian deaths are unintentional. But Hamas, the militant group that runs the territory, disputes this. Still on the foreign scene, South Korean President Moon Jae-in is hoping to use his first summit with U.S. President Joe Biden this week to revive long-stalled talks with North Korea and urge the White House to embrace the issue with more urgency. South Korean officials said they were heartened by the new administration's recent policy review, which called for a focus on practical diplomatic steps to reduce tensions while maintaining the final goal of removing North Korea's nuclear weapons. But amid the global coronavirus pandemic, domestic economic and political challenges, and foreign policy crisis elsewhere, the Biden administration has not signaled North Korea as a top priority, potentially complicating Moon's hopes of cementing his legacy. Now, Moon is scheduled to arrive in Washington on Thursday for a 4-day stay, which will include a series of summits with Biden and meetings with Vice U.S. President Kamala Harris and congressional leaders. Now, up next is Sports with Judechi.
Welcome to the Sports Updates. I am Judechi Chidi. Now, former Barcelona midfielder Xavi Hernandez has revealed he has no intention of returning to the club this summer to replace Ronald Koeman. The ex-Spanish international has been heavily linked with a spectacular return to the Camp Nou throughout the last 12 months, even prior Koeman's appointment as manager in August of 2020. However, Xavi has opted to extend his contract in charge of Qatari club Al Said earlier this month, and despite being photographed in Barcelona in recent days, he insisted there is no substance to the rumors. Koeman, on the other hand, still have a year left on his contract with the Blaugrana, but based on their disastrous failure to stay in the end of the season La Liga title race, he could come under real pressure in the months ahead. And in other stories, Nigeria football family has marked the 70th birthday celebration of formerly rated best goalkeeper in Africa, Emmanuel Okala. Okala, who was the country's first African footballer of the year in 1977, actually was born 70 years ago in Onitsha, Anambra State. Now, standing between the sticks at 6 feet 5 inches, Okala emerged during an era that Nigeria produced a long line of exceptional goalkeepers, including Inwari Gogo, Peter Fregene, and Musa Adisa, and Eyo Essien. He earned his first cap in a friendly against Tanzania in Lagos that Nigeria won 3-2, and was also in the team that won the All-Africa Games football gold in Lagos in 1973. Now, former Nigeria captain Segun Odemami, who has a long-standing relationship with Okala, dating their days in the national team, christened Okala's birthday at a special day in the life of Africa's greatest football heroes. And that's all for now on the Sports Update. Margaret, it's back to you.
Many thanks, Judechi. And now in business news, President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday urged the Senate to approve a new external loan of 2.3 trillion naira at about $6,183 billion US for the federal government to finance the 2021 budget deficit. Senate President Ahmad Lawan read Buhari's letter of request on the floor of the Senate at plenary. Now, the rate of inflation in Nigeria dropped slightly in April, shedding 0.05% to close at 18.12% in the month under review, the National Bureau of Statistics said on Monday. Nigeria's rate of inflation was 18.17% in the preceding month of March, and the NBS said the Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation, increased to 18.12% year-on-year in April 2021. This is 0.5% points lower than the rate recorded in March 2021, 18.17%. The chairman of Foundation for Economic Research and Training, Professor Akpan Eko, said that to sustain the reduction in month-on-month inflation, the government should ensure that it improves security in the farmlands to aid food production. Now, this would ensure the steady supply of food to the markets and stabilize prices. Meanwhile, the federal government on Monday declared that insecurity as a major crisis in the maritime sector, describing it as more complex than the world knows. It also announced that the President Muhammadu Buhari would inaugurate Nigeria's maritime security project in June. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi announced this in Abuja and stated that the security project would be inaugurated in Lagos, as it would involve the Navy, Police, Army and State Security Service. The minister spoke while in Belgium, Ambassador to Nigeria, Daniel Brentard, paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. Amaechi was quoted in a statement issued by his ministry's Assistant Director, Press and Public Relations, Anastasia Ogbonna, as saying the crisis in the maritime sector is insecurity and it is more complex than the world knows. The minister, however, told his guests that the federal government had come up with a solution that is ready for takeoff. Still on the business scene, World Remit, a global cross-border payment company, has expressed support for the Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to extend the deadline of the Naira 4 scheme that was introduced in March this year. Now, the CBN had on May 6 announced that he has extended indefinitely the scheme, which was initially scheduled to end on May 8. The company said in a statement on Monday that it would continue to reward customers who receive international money transfers through partner banks in Nigeria. He said as one of the fully registered and licensed international money transfer operations in the country, money transfers made through World Remit would benefit from this incentive. The company stated World Remit's customers will receive 5 Naira for every $1 received through the fully digital international payment platform, thereby increasing the value of payouts for recipients. Another note, we call News Now a wrap. Please follow us on all our social media platforms and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name is Margaret Opera.